we digress. It's a lot more fun when you win. I will say that. Well, listen, it's a good win for us. Cincinnati, they're very talented. Obviously, they're not playing, as well as they want to play. So basketball is a funny game. It was a month ago, and they were ranked, top 20 in the country, and they're really good defensively. They make it hard to score, and I thought the start that we had offensively was really, really key for us. Right out of the gate, I think it was 12-12. I didn't like necessarily how we were guarding, although they made some tough shots or out of character shots. But I felt good about how we were playing on offense and really sharing it. Just making simple plays, really cutting hard and finding some cracks in their defense, which is hard to do. And so I thought that was key. Went to our bench. We weren't as good, but we were able to really steady the ship, went into halftime on a really good note. They've been struggling shooting the three. The other night against BYU, they were 5 for 28, and 41 was 4 for 8. So the rest of the team had made 1 3. And so they threw in some that, they haven't consistently. And so you just got to stay the course, and just keep making them, earn shots. And so, kind of stayed in front there for a stretch. Obviously, then the middle of the second half when Lawson got his 4 fouls, we were really struggling to score. And we got down 8. And I think a big pivotal point in the game is we played Ezra at the 5, with KD and Jake and then 2 guards. And it just really helped us space them out. They turned it over a couple times, and then KD really got going. I think he had 9 points in the second half. It's cutting and knifing to the rim. And our guys were really looking for him, and it got us back. And then we were up 4, and, get the flagrant 2 with around, just under the 4-minute mark, and you're thinking, okay, if we can make these 2, you're up 6. We got an out-of-bounds play. We're usually pretty good at those. Now you go out, if you can score there, you're up 8 or 9, and you can just seize control, and, we go 0 for 2, and we turn it over. And now it's a ball game. But, late executing when we were following up 3, I thought was big. Gabe goes 3 for 4 from the line. So a lot of good performances. Ezra, a great start to the game. Really got going. We were playing through him within the flow of the offense. I think we had 8 turnovers at halftime, which is too many, but we made it even worse in the second half. We got to take care of the ball. We have to. 19 turnovers is too many, but the silver lining is we shoot 53% for the game, and if you do that, you should find your way to victory. So it's good to get back in the win column.
Craig, as you mentioned, 19 turnovers tonight. It seems like that's been an up and down trend for you. Have you been able to, I guess, identify what is going wrong with the turnovers? And then to follow up with that, what were you able to do to overcome that as a positive?
Yeah, we're just all over with that. Our point guard's got to do a better job getting us into our offense, like getting us into an operating area, understanding what we're doing. Now, that being said, it was everybody. Ezra has 4 turnovers, Gabe has 4 turnovers, and KD has 4 turnovers. So I know I'm talking about the point guard, but that's a 2 guard, that's a 3-4 man, and it's a 4-5 man. And I just felt like what are we doing on some of these turnovers? You know what I mean? Jumping to pass. I felt like our guys thought they were Magic Johnson and John Stockton out there. And, guys, you're not. Just make simple plays, because when we kept saying it in timeout, when we make simple plays and simple decisions, we're scoring at 53%. We're getting almost anything we wanted, right? And so you got to just be tougher with the ball. To me tonight, it wasn't as much ball toughness as decision-making. And you know what I mean? And just trying to thread the needle when just make the simple play, which is the next play. So not to oversimplify it, but against teams like this that really pressure, and which most Big 12 teams do, you see an open man, hit the open man, and then hit the next open man, and good things will happen, because we do have good decision makers. We do, but you're right. One, and it's game to game, but it's literally it can be, every 5 minutes, and we have to tighten that area up. We just do.
Yeah, Craig, outside of Mike's 2 missed free throws, you did finish well with free throws late in the game.
We did.
How important has that been for you to kind of emphasize that, or have you emphasized that? Is that one of those things you just don't talk about? Like,
No,
how does that work?
Yeah, it's just interesting, right? Like, free throw shooting can be, obviously, it's a huge part of the game. Like, look at the Big 12. Like, there's a lot of poor free throw shooting teams in this league. There is. It's like, it's kind of been mind blowing, like, to look at it, percentage wise. And so, part of it is a couple of our guys that get fouled the most have never been like great free throw shooters. So we got to, just keep going, keep pushing it, make some tweaks without overthinking it too. Tonight, Gabe gets 8 of them, right? KD gets 3 of them. Zach, stepped up. I thought Zach, that's another thing I didn't mention, but his last run, when we took Ezra out, when Ezra got his 4th foul, I thought he had a really good run. Obviously, he made the 2 free throws. He had the cut. KD hits him on the back cut. Heck of a pass, but it was a good finish. He had a good run. So, it's not like we don't work on him. Like you do, and you try different things. I think rhythm and timing and repetition. And guys got to get in on their own too, and you try to do it within game like, when we're scrimmaging in practice. And then you try to get the volume with just a number of them and have confidence up there. But, you got to have courage, right? You got to be able to own it and step up to the plate. But tonight it was big for Gabe to go 3 for 4 there late. And he'll be thinking of the one he missed, of course. But that was key.
While on Gabe, it seemed like he sort of shifted his focus to he ended up with a lot of shots around the elbow. Was that a point of emphasis for him in sort of finding ways to impact the game?
Yeah, Gabe and I had a really good talk the other day. He's like he said, I've never been in a funk like this, and I believe in you, and I do, and our staff does, and every player does. And there's going to be a game where that thing just opens up and it feels, but part of it's how they defend. Like they chase you off. They're really good about chasing you off the line. We felt like we could get some curl actions, where you down screen, some curl action stuff. He said, we didn't really do much on Sunday after the Baylor game besides film and walkthrough. I just felt like our guys needed to just kind of get their legs back. But he had a really good practice yesterday, and he shot it really, really well in scrimmage play. So that was encouraging. It's just going to be a matter of time. But I agree with you. There were some shots he normally would have pulled probably, but he made some really good decisions that led to better shots for his teammates. He's such a smart kid, and his playmaking has certainly picked up, although he had the 4 turnovers. But he's still the targeted guy, despite his percentages, and teams are doing everything they can to take it away. But he made late in the game, we called some stuff for him, and he made really good decisions, and that's why he got to the foul line 4 times, at least the 2, I guess, that he got fouled in the press break. But he just had a really good look to him. It looked like he was more just Gabe, just balling, just a baller, like just going and playing and not feeling like he has the tension of the world on his shoulders. And that was really good to see. It was really good to see.
Sorry, I'm zoned out. Ezra only played 16 minutes tonight. I'm curious, was that just a flow of the game thing? Keanu was getting hot. Walk me through that decision making.
Yeah, so I thought he had a great first half. I don't know how many minutes he played in the first half. Probably 12, maybe 11. And I thought he had a really good first half. I thought his start to the second half, just turnovers. We just were really clunky, and had some turnovers. And then when we put him back in, he got his 4th foul. So whatever time that was, probably the 10-minute mark. So now you got Lawson with 4. And your starting front line is 4 fouls. And then late, like KD was just playing really well. I thought when Jake was on the floor, we were clearly better. And so what do you do? So that was the discussion on the sideline, right? Who's going to play the 5? Because KD and Jake were playing. And then we were going to play 2 other guards. So then it was like, okay, Zach had such a good run. We almost kept Zach in. But then we brought in Law, just because Law, just with his feel and timing and rim protection, went with more of the experienced guy. So it's just kind of, and here's what I will say, like Ezra was amazing tonight with his voice. And what I mean by that is every time out, he was consistently like, keep fighting, like, you know what I'm saying? Like speaking life to people, Not that they were, but he was so positive and just all about the team. And that was great to see. And he was just so engaged, right, with what was going on. I was really proud of him that way.
Coach, you talked about the point guard needing to do a better job kind of initiating the offense. It seems like multiple guys kind of have that freedom to bring the ball up the floor and initiate.
Yeah.
So I was wondering what advantages you see as far as letting different guys be playmakers in different spots.
Yeah, I mean, we try to recruit to that. We want our guys to play like that. You know, there's a reason we're one of the, you know, I don't know what number we are in the country now with assists. You know, we still, you know, tonight was I guess you could say a down night. We had 16 assists, which for a lot of teams that would be like a really good number. So to do that, you got to have a lot of guys that can shoot, pass, and dribble, that can make quick decisions. And listen, our point guards are doing some really good things, but we just got to get us into our stuff more efficiently. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. So, but we have no issue with, you know, Jake gets a defensive rebound, or, you know, KD gets it, and have some vigor bringing that thing up the floor. Hunter, you know, whoever, Gabe, like it just, like we feel confident in that. And I think it's harder to load up on you when you do that, right? And looking ahead and making the right play.
Is there a fine line between misery and ecstasy in this league?
There is.
I mean, you guys break a 2-game skid. They're on a 3-game skid. It could have been West sitting here happy. Instead, it's you. And
No, that's a great point. And I've said this it was probably 2 years ago, you know, after the BYU game. It's just, you know, I think we went at I think 1 by 1. I think it was a 1-point game at the end of the day. And it's just amazing how, and I know how I am. Like, I have an old, one of my guys I used to work for when I was an assistant is like, man, you celebrate winning. It's so hard to do it. And the hours that go into it and the time that goes into it. So when you win, like the old cliche, you enjoy it to midnight. And I'm going to, because I know when we lose, like, I am beating the living, you know what, out of myself, no matter what. Like, I just, you know, and then you got to move on, right? There's a process to it. And it's hard. And so it's amazing how when you can win a game by 1 point or one possession, you know, and you're on the good side of that, there's elation to it, right? And when you lose, it's hard. And in this league, you know, I was an assistant in the Big Ten for 2 years. And I remember I was at Nebraska. So, like, our first year we were not good. Our second year we were an NCAA tournament team. And when you first start and you're not good, and I was at Nebraska, like, if you don't beat, you know, whatever team, next thing you know, you got to go on the road to Michigan State, and then you got, you know, Purdue at home, and then you got to go play Wisconsin. And they were, you know, 1 year Wisconsin lost the national championship, the other year Michigan lost the national championship. So, like, in this league's the same thing. And, like, I told our guys, you know, Sunday, we've had the second hardest, like, within league play, just conference play, right? UCF and us have had the 2 hardest schedules within league play. Like, not all things are even in this league in terms of what your strength of schedule looks like early in the league. So when you start at Baylor, and then you play Texas Tech at home, and Texas Tech is really good, and then you got to go to Iowa State, and then, you know, at Houston, TCU's been good at home, Baylor at home. Like, it's hard, and you got to learn. You know, people will say, do you just flush it? I don't just flush it. Like, there's always learning moments. You get to play 31 of these games. You got to learn and grow, right? But what you do got to do is have the ability to move on and be mentally strong to be on to the next, you know, and you can't have the loser's limp. So it's hard. You know, it's kind of a swing game today, like, right? If we lose, now Cincinnati and us have the same record. And we win, so now we're 2 up on them. And it's, you know, it's still early. It's 9 games in. But they all matter, and when you're at home, you get to take care of business.
Kind of building off of that, I want to look at a specific moment. You guys give up that 14-0 run. You respond back with an 18-4 run, especially considering how last week there were some big, long droughts. Just what did you think of the fight of your guys to be able to what could have very easily been another one of those moments you're down 6? To just kind of quit, but then you get, I think, 5 guys that scored during that 18-4 run.
Yeah, I didn't know those runs were that drastic. I mean, I knew there was 2 big runs, but I didn't know it was that much. You know, John's not helping me with that. But I'm really proud because it didn't look good there for a stretch, obviously. I think the key was just how well we defended. We held them to 33% in the second half. You know what I mean? Like, I thought we really guarded well. The one possession that really when they went up 6, we don't get a defensive rebound, and they kick it out, and number 10 banks a 3 in at the top of the key. And you're kind of looking around like, all right, you know. And I was really proud of how we responded from that moment on, like not hanging your head and having the woe is me mentality. And then our guys just started playing with vigor and aggression, and but the key was stops. They're a good offensive rebounding team. They shoot 39% for the game and only have 6 offensive boards. And to out-rebound a team like that by 18, it's hard to do. So I was really, really proud of that. And then on the flip side of that, when we're up 4 and we miss Mike misses the 2 flagrant 2 free throws, and then we turn it over on the out-of-bounds play, that can be easy because in your mind you're thinking, man, we can get this to 6 or 8 or 9. And then it just goes the other way, and I think they went down and scored, and you're just like, And so you just got to keep going in this league. You just got to have an elite competitive spirit, and you got to have a short memory, and just keep going. And we made just enough plays down the stretch.
With the schedule, getting back to the schedule, you've got the next couple of games. Are not the most difficult games in conference play. Mm-hmm. How important was this to get this win against Cincinnati to kind of hopefully build momentum? That's
huge. Last week I just felt like we were off, and I'm not sure why. And honestly, I said that to the team on Sunday after film. We didn't feel. Now Houston can make you feel off, like they are really good, and then Baylor's a talented team. We were just, I don't know. I just felt like we were off last week, and I don't know what exactly it was. I don't. But here's what I do know, and it's easy to say when you win. I understand that, but I just felt like tonight we did a lot more things back to the way we did, starting at Iowa State. Like we rebounded it like crazy. We played with physicality. We did a lot of good things. At the end of the day, we turned it over 19 times. That's a problem. But it was big because there's just this league, you got to take advantage of the opportunities when you can. And now as we go forward on the road, it's a second team now. This will be the second time we played Oklahoma State. This is the second time we've done that. They've clearly been a way better team at home than they have been on the road. And they're really athletic, and they turn teams over. Like, that's what they do. So we got to be able to tighten that up as we go into that and have that mentality. It'll be really good for our guys to have a day off tomorrow to just, a day off at this time of year almost feels like a Christmas break. Like, it really does. It's kind of wild. But because you just go. You're just always on. So I think it'll be really good to rest and recover and just mentally get away from a day of film and a day of – and just recharge. So it'll be good.
Good. All right, start with questions for the players. Gabe, Keanu, you guys had, I think, 19 turnovers tonight. How were you guys able to overcome that and close out the game in the final moments?
It's kind of hard. I mean, it's crazy to win a game and have 19 turnovers, so it's good to get that win, obviously, and find a way. But, yeah, I can't even really think of how everything just went down. But, obviously, yeah, good to get a win when you have 19 turnovers and just find a way.
Gabe, are you sick?
Yeah, a little sick.
All right.
Yeah. Don't mind that.
I wanted it on record. Keanu, you played a big role in sort of that middle part of the second half when you and Hunter Erickson combined for 12 points and got Utah back the lead. What was your mindset in those moments, and just what were you trying to accomplish there?
Really just do whatever it takes to win. I think at that point in the game we had the lead, like a decent lead at that time. So it's kind of just do whatever to sustain that lead and kind of grow the lead as much as possible.
Hey, Gabe, Craig talked about how you've been trying to find your shot. It's no secret to anybody, right, including yourself. It seemed like tonight, when some of those 3-point shots weren't, dropping, it seemed like you tried to create your shot elsewhere.
Yep.
Have you tried to do something to change your game, or kind of take us through kind of this stretch that
Yeah.
has probably been rough?
Yeah,
for you?
it's been weird. Obviously, I've never really been through something like this, so I don't know. Like I've been talking to my dad about it, and just whenever I go through like a little slump or whatever in high school, just talk about like going back to the basics, kind of just taking what the defense gives you and trying to find other ways to like help the team out and whatnot. So just like getting downhill, and I mean obviously I'm gonna be chased out all the time, so just curling that and trying to get into that mid range and just taking what the defense gives me.
Keanu, you guys end up out-rebounding them by 18 tonight. In a game like this where it's just so scrappy, how big was that to be able to limit the number of times they had shots?
That's huge, and I think that kind of goes back to the first question of why we were able to, sustain the lead, even though we had 19 turnovers. When we play like this, we have a bunch of guys who can rebound really well. So that kind of, whenever you can do something else extremely well, it kind of takes away from what you're doing not so well at the time.
Gabe, you're playing against your old team.
Yeah.
What kind of emotions does that bring up for you tonight?
It's kind of weird. Like some guys asked me, and I don't really even know anybody on that team anymore. Obviously, it's a different coach that I didn't play for. Like my brother played for him for 1 year. But I think you'll feel more like something when we go there, just to kind of be back and see everything. But it's still cool to like play against them, and obviously I wore that Cincinnati across my chest for a little bit. So it was cool to play against them, and looking forward to going there and kind of seeing everything again.
I saw you talking to Bob Mangine.
Yeah.
Now Mason played for West. Did you have any involvement with West at
No,
all?
so I left it was like the COVID year, and I left at about Christmas time. So I played for John Brannon. So Mason stayed for 1 more year and played for West, and he has nothing but good things to say about him. So
I was pretty high up. So is Mason all right, or I didn't know why he didn't play?
yeah, he's good. He's good. It's just it's how it goes sometimes, and just trying to figure out other ways to help the team when he's not playing. So.
Keanu, you sunk a number of free throws tonight, and Gabe, you too. Just what was the last couple of days like in practice? How much of an emphasis was the free throw line in practice?
It's like we shoot free throws all the time, and sometimes you get that momentum where you see some guys make some, and then other guys feel a little bit more confident stepping up. So, it's a hard game, putting the ball in the hoop sometimes, and we shoot our free throws all the time, and sometimes they go in, sometimes they don't. And that's kind of what I'm experiencing right now, shooting the ball from the three. So it's a hard game sometimes, but just finding different ways to win.
In the final 3:38, you guys held them to 0 field goals. What does that say about your guys' defensive effort, given the turnovers and just it was kind of a grinded out game? Walk me through what that meant for you guys to be able to close out the game that way defensively.
Something Coach Smith said before the game was everything we want's on the other side of hard. So when we were sitting there and going through some of the turnovers, and we had that final media timeout, that was something we said is just everything we want is on the other side of hard. And so just figuring out a different way to win. If it's an ugly game sometimes, and we'll figure all that stuff out. But obviously that's how it went tonight, and we found a way, and it feels good.